Hello, future teachers. My name is Jessica Musso, and I am also a future teacher. I'm here today to share a few valuable lessons I've learned about the teaching of writing. Lessons I hope you'll take on into your career, and in 10 years when you're feeling a little burnt out and you can't remember why you started, you'll look back and you'll remember why it is we do what we do. So first, I'd like to share with you my writer's notebook, of course. This notebook has become my constant companion. I really can't travel without it anymore. I'm able to look back on some of the things that I've written, and I'm actually really proud. In the past, anytime I've started a notebook, I've had this tendency to just go back and tear up everything I've written or just throw it away, and that hasn't been the case with this notebook. So the difference has been in the intention that I set when I created the notebook. I started at the beginning of the semester with a lot of apprehension and fear. Writing every day, write whatever you want, draw pictures, be your wonderful weird self. Those were scary concepts to me. I mean, as humans, we're so afraid of being judged. We have a hard time sometimes of giving ourselves the freedom just to write what we want, what's inside of us. So as I allowed myself that freedom and became accustomed to writing regularly, that fear melted away, and I learned that I really loved it, and it opened up my mind to all the possibilities of what I could write, that my writing has meaning for myself and for my audiences. And as a teacher, if we can have our students set that same intention of freedom and choice, that their voices matter, that they're making meaning, because that's what this notebook really represents. Will they similarly be changed? And that's my hope, that each one of them knows that they have something to say and something to write, that their lives are important, that they're writers already, and that it was inside of them all along. And as sappy as that sounds, being 30 and having figured that out now, it really makes me wonder how different my life would be if I had known this as a child and been encouraged instead of being shoved into a box. So I'm breaking out. Next, I'd like to share a piece with you that started in my writer's notebook, and it was a piece I took to publication in class. Just as a little background, my family is one of those crazy families that always has some crazy dilemma going on, somebody always needs saving, and this past semester has been a little bit more catastrophic than normal, and so these feelings of powerlessness and being overwhelmed kind of started to creep in. And I was reading Rumi at the time, and a particular poem stuck out to me. He wrote, "The cure for the pain is in the pain," and so I decided to steer into the skid and write about the thing that was bothering me so much. So here I go. Saturday, I woke up late, 10:15 a.m. I groan. I'm supposed to be at my parents' already. I told them I would clean the spare room for my brother Jeff. Mom and Dad are waiting for me in the living room. Mom is cooking feverishly and offers me coffee, but I decline. I've had 2 already. My nerves are on edge. Dad stands up and slaps his hands together like a seal. Whenever there is a crisis, he springs into action. Here we both are, springing into action. I hope the room is enough to make him stay. If it's done nicely enough, maybe he'll know he is loved and won't run away again. And the oddest thing to me, or the strangest feelings I've had have been when I've shared this piece. When I shared it in group in class, there were a few tears, mostly mine. But funnily enough, I actually wrote this while I was working. I was subbing in a 5th grade class, and they had to write to some silly prompt. What did you do over the weekend? And so in an act of solidarity, I was like, I'm going to write with the kids, and I'm going to share my piece with them. And what amazed me was the feedback that I got back from the students. They told me how much they loved the story. They said that I was a storyteller. They said they were wondering, genuinely curious about what happened to my brother and if the situation had worked out. And so I was inspired by them, and it was really touching and encouraging to get the feedback from my students. And so what I learned from that situation is that, as teachers, we are asking our students to put themselves in a position of vulnerability, and we should be able to put ourselves in that same position. And so teachers of writing need to be writers also. So writers write, and we should push ourselves to publish our writing. Next, I'd like to share with you 2 books. One is the Writing Workshop, The Essential Guide by Ralph Fletcher and Joanne Portaluppi. This was my first introduction into the writing workshop. I'd never heard of it before, so this was a really great intro book to starting a writing workshop. I've read many books on the subject since then, but this was a great starter. Next is From Ideas to Words, Writing Strategies for English Language Learners by Tasha Trop-Lehman. She does such a great job of weaving the concept of identity throughout this book and how we as teachers are creating an environment that allows students to cultivate their own identity, especially multilingual learners. And we have to lay that foundation. We have to create a supportive environment and an inclusive community, and one in which students and teachers respect each other and voices are heard. So this book does a great job of teaching you how you can lay that foundation in your own classroom. And then last but not least, which I don't have a copy of, is the book What Do You Do with an Idea by Kobi Yamada. And our teacher read this to us in class, and it was so beautiful and simple and perfect, and I realized that even now at 30, I love being read to, and never underestimate the power of a good read aloud. But more than that is that ideas change the world. And I think many of us teachers want that. I know that's part of the reason why I want to become a teacher is, we want to make a difference in the world. And we want to see our ideas become a part of everything. So teaching, of course, it's scary and it's weird and there's days that I want to run away from what I'm doing. But if I give it the attention it deserves and I feed that idea, I know from firsthand experience that it does make changes. I've seen those changes. So don't give up. Good luck.